Islam, Islam, Islamism. Bismillah, ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. First and foremost, I like to rise to my highest of heights and give all perfect praise to our Father God Allah, acknowledging our ancestors, known and unknown, recognizing and naming all true and divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius, and the last prophet in these days and times, our illustrious Hebrew prophet, Noble Drew Ali, in his first, second, and third form. I would like to remain standing and extend those honors to our National Grand Sheikh, Joe Bratton Bay, all national officials at headquarters in Baltimore, Maryland, all sheikhs, sheikesses, deputy sheikhs, and deputy sheikesses, and all of our friends, visitors, guests, citizens, members, students, children. I greet everyone with Islam. Today's date for the record is March 14th, 2021, according to the Gregorian calendar. And as always, we open our calls with paying homage to our Mother, Father, God, Allah. So can I please have everyone who is able to stand erect, facing towards the east, heels together, toes apart, separated at a 45-degree angle, upper arms parallel to the floor, forearms perpendicular, 5 fingers erect and together on the left, and 2 fingers erect and together on the right. Allah, Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Ameen. We want to welcome you all to our National Town Hall Educational Forum call being brought to you by the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America Incorporated, number 13, the Moorish American National Republic. Under the guidance and direction of our National Grand Sheikh, Joel Bratton Bay, I am the moderator for this evening's call. I am Brother Cornelius Sanders Bay, calling out of Lake County, Florida Republic. And I'll be going into our administrative announcements. And the first administrative announcement will be given by myself. On behalf of the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America Incorporated, number 13, the Moorish American National Republic, I would like to thank the guests that are on this Moorish National Town Hall meeting, and we thank you for joining us this evening. Our prophet, Noble Drew Ali, founded the ancient Canaanite temple in 1913 in Essex County, New Jersey. Later, in 1916, his missionary work was entitled The Moorish Divine and National Movement. In 1917, he transferred the movement to Cook County, Illinois. In 1925, the temple was called the Moorish Temple of Science. In 1926, the temple was incorporated as a civic organization. In 1927, the temple was unofficially adopted as the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. Our prophet, Noble Drew Ali, stated that the Negro problem is being solved only as it can, and that is by the Moorish Divine and National Movement. If you have a nation, you must have a free national name in order to be recognized by this nation as an American citizen. After lawfully connecting with the private international law of the Pan American Conference in 1928, the temple's name was changed to the Moorish Science Temple of America. The temple was then incorporated as a religious organization under the Illinois Revised Statutes in Cook County, giving the temple and its members national and international power. During this same period of time, unfaithful members of the Moorish Science Temple of America in Chicago and Detroit conspired to destroy the positive existence of the movement, causing great confusion. This is the reason for the misunderstanding of the national side of the movement amongst all Moorish Americans until this very day. Our prophet, Noble Drew Ali, stated that Chicago is doomed and Detroit must go down for what they did to I, your prophet. Afterwards, in 1929, our prophet, Noble Drew Ali, made his transition to the plane of soul. Our purpose of establishing this meeting on Sundays is to properly educate people on what the Negro problem really is and to educate people concerning the national side of the movement of our Prophet Noble Jew Ali, so that you may receive a clear understanding of it. Our Prophet Noble Jew Ali also stated, "Come, all ye Asiatics of America, and hear the truth about your nationality and birthrights, because you are not negroes." In other words, all calling themselves negroes, black people, color folk, Afro-American, Latino, Puerto Rican, Hispanic, or any other such names that delude to slavery. You are not these. Your nationality has been taken away from you, and your birthrights have been stolen from you by way of your original birth certificate, social security card, and your state ID/driver's license, which is why clear color copies, both front and back from these, is required from you when applying for Moorish American citizenship as you transform from your lower self to your higher self while working towards your actual freedom and becoming free national Moorish American citizens. You have ignorantly contracted into the jurisdiction of the federal U.S. government corporation. Thus, your nationality is United States. You have surrendered your free national state citizenship by registering yourself voluntarily as a beneficiary of the U.S. government corporation by way of your birth certificate, which is an unrevealed trust account instrument placing you in commerce with the federal U.S. Federal U.S. citizens are not citizens at all. They are, subhanAllah, they are subjects and property of the District of Columbia, residents and franchisees of the so-called bankrupt U.S. government corporation under municipal law. The Constitution for the U.S.A., the Bill of Rights, and the 13th Amendment with its 20 sections does not apply to federal U.S. citizens. Federal U.S. citizens are subjects and property under statutory, admiralty, and maritime law, as well as martial law under the undisclosed presumption of an international contract. Federal U.S. citizens have no constitutional protections or unalienable rights. They only have granted privileges by the U.S. government corporation. Legal persons born or naturalized in the federal U.S. were made exclusively by the 14th Amendment after the Civil War. The 14th Amendment was never lawfully ratified and therefore unconstitutional. Our Prophet Noble Jew Ali held up the red flag with the 5-pointed green star in the center in his right hand. This is our national flag. It is poorly misunderstood as the flag of Morocco. It is properly comprehended as the Moorish flag. He also held up the 48-star flag of the U.S.A. in his left hand. This is our flag of peace, friendship, and commerce within the states of the Union under the Republican form of government in this country. The 50-star flag of the U.S. with gold fringes around it does not represent free national Moorish American citizens. Social Security benefits and the income tax are voluntary contracts made mandatory for federal government employees and U.S. citizens who receive benefits from the federal government corporation. Asiatics are the aboriginal indigenous inhabitants of America. However, due to the fact that the Asiatics' birthrights have been stolen and we have fallen from the constitutional laws of the government, being placed in the chattel property status because of the reorganization of the U.S. with the New Deal in 1933, the Asiatics are now aliens, not to this country, but to all free national governments. We encourage everyone to become a naturalized Moor and register with the Moorish National Bureau of Vital Statistics in order to become part and parcel of this free national government. In this way, you are under the divine authority of our Honorable Prophet Noble Jew Ali, being under the jurisdiction of the Emancipation Proclamations of President Abraham Lincoln, inclusive of the 13th Amendment with its 20 sections, and not under federal jurisdiction, making your identity and your nationality Moorish American. The bankruptcy of the United States is a fraud. The Uniform Commercial Codes administers this fraudulent bankruptcy. So those who undergo the UCC 1 financing statement in its favor, subhanAllah, and its further paperwork applications become a party to this fraud and disconnect themselves from the divine authority of our Honorable Prophet Noble Jew Ali, which is the conspiracy of the international banking cartel against us Moorish Americans. Also, having a seat in the United Nations is a trap. This places you under the controls of the cartels of Europe as well. Furthermore, a government that is a democracy is a trick because this type of government is not of the common people, for the common people, nor by the common people. Educating the masses on these issues in order for the Asiatics to become functionally active is of the utmost importance for the progress and growth of the Moorish Divine and National Movement. For more information, visit our website, www.moorishamericannationalrepublic.com. During this meeting, we would like our guests to remain muted if you are not speaking. This will prevent background noise coming from you as these calls are being recorded. When you want to speak, press the star button twice to unmute your phone and state your name and where you are calling from. You may submit your questions to our email, townhall@moorishamericannationalrepublic.com. Again, townhall@moorishamericannationalrepublic.com. So your questions will be answered in the order in which they are received, as the email questions supersede direct questions from the audience. We would like our guests to continue to attend these meetings, and please invite your family members, associates, and friends to attend these meetings. And that will conclude the first administrative announcement. Our next administrative announcement will be coming by way of our National Inaugural Sunday School, and it'll be given by our Deputy Moorish Achiever in Training, Sister Jaden Levy-Ill, and our good brother, Jameson Dennis Bay. Islam there, beloved brother and sister. You can press star, and you have the floor.
Islam.
Islam, Deputy Moorish Achiever, Sister Jaden Levy-Ill, trusting all is well with you and the family, and you have the floor. Are you available, Brother Jameson Dennis Bay?
Islam, yes, I am.
Islam, Deputy Moorish Achiever in Training, Brother Jameson Dennis Bay, trust all is well with you and your family, your vibrations are strong, and you and the Moabites have the floor.
Islam, this is Deputy Moorish Achiever in Training, Sister Jaden Levy-Ill, calling out from Louisiana Republic, and I'm 11 years old. First, I'd like to ask my highest heights, giving all perfect praises to Allah, the Mother, Father, God of the universe. I'd like to remain standing and extend those honors to all of our true and divine prophets, naming Jesus, Muhammed, Buddha, Confucius, and our last prophet in days and times, our honorable prophet, Noble Jali, in his first, second, and third form. I'd like to give honors to all of our national officials at headquarters, all of our chiefs and chiefesses, deputy chiefs, all of our members, guests, and visitors on the call. And I'd like to get everyone in and with Islam.
And this is Deputy Moorish Achiever in Training, Brother Jameson Dennis Day. And I'm 10 years old, and I'm calling from the Florida Republic. I give honors to Allah, our officials, our Grand Sheiks, members, and guests on the call. I greet you all with Islam.
Islam to all, the Divine and National Movement of North America Incorporated, number 13. Moorish American National Republic invites the public to join us and expects the presence of all members every Sunday at 12 noon Eastern Time for our Moorish Sunday School conference call. Our Moorish Sunday School is unlike any other. We explore, identify, and embrace our divine side as we affirm our nationality and birthright. Please join us by calling 443-961-4434. That's 443-961-4434.
All Moors currently naturalized through the Moorish American National Republic are to forward an email to sundayschool@moorishamericannationalrepublic.com. That's sundayschool@moorishamericannationalrepublic.com. Your email must contain names, ages, and phone contacts for adults, as well as names, ages, birthdays, and school grades for all children and the family. We will confirm your registration via your welcome and information packet. Any non-member desiring to join our Sunday school is invited to do so.
Again, the Moorish American National Republic Sunday School conference call is every Sunday at 12 noon Eastern Time. Join us by calling 443-961-4434. That's 443-961-4434.
We had an productive and magnificent class today. You can listen to our class playbacks at www.moorishamericannationalrepublic.com. We look forward to exercising our five senses together with you as we build to manifest guidance for our nation. Peace.
Islam. And thank you for that administrative announcement. Our Deputy Moorish Achiever in Training, Sister Jaden Levy-Ill, and Brother Jameson Dennis Bay. Appreciate you much, beloveds. All right. Our next administrative announcement will be coming by way of our Moorish School and Law History, a Board of Education, and it'll be given by our good sister Carla Green-Ill. Islam, their beloved sister, you can press ***, and you have the floor.
Islam.
Islam, Sister Carla Green-Ill. It's always a pleasure to hear your vibrations. It's strong, loud, and clear. Trusting that all is well with you and the family, and you have the floor.
Islam, and thank you much, Brother Cornelius Sanders Bay. Islam family, this is Sister Carla Green-Ill from the Massachusetts Commonwealth. I rise to my highest heights and give all perfect praises to the Mother, Father, God of the universe, our ancestors known and unknown, recognizing and naming Jesus, Muhammed, Buddha, Confucius, and the last prophet in these days and times, our illustrious Hebrew prophet, noble Jew Allah, in third form, extending honors to our national grand sheik, Joel Bratton Bay, all national and local officials, all sheiks, sheikesses, deputy sheikesses, all of our children and students, members, guests, and citizens. I greet you all with Islam. Remain muted for this very important announcement. Peace and greetings. The Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America, Incorporated, number 13, the Moorish American National Republic, requires from everyone desiring to proclaim their Moorish American nationality to fill out and complete an application for Moorish American citizenship and 3 course registration forms for each of the Moorish Law and History courses, which I'll explain later. Many people question, why do we have to fill out paperwork and submit copies of our personal documents? This is the reason. We must know who you are, your background, previous affiliations, work history, physical abilities, education, skills, training, etc. First of all, these documents do not belong to you. They belong to the federal government. But you must remember that in their jurisdiction, you are an artificial corporation under civil rights and granted privileges. Secondly, we require these documents because once you are a free national Moorish American citizen, your file will be in the Moorish National Bureau of Vital Statistics, which is set up for each natural person. These Moorish documents that you'll be receiving at the time of your naturalization are prepared from these documents. The most important page in the application is the self-audit page. This allows you to make sure you know the appropriate attire to wear during naturalization and are submitting the required documents, fees, and photos. The documents must be clear-colored copies for clarity and authenticity. The photos must be passport size. We use the photos for your nationality and ID card. Please have your national and religious headdress on and write your name on the back of the photos. The application process is reviewed each week because applications are received in the National Registrar's office, either with incomplete applications, no photos, or no documents. If a question on the application does not apply to you, place N/A, not applicable, This lets us know that you did read the question, but did not omit it. We must read and follow instructions and learn to ask questions if we do not comprehend what is being said. The second part of the process is enrolling into the Moorish School of Law and History by registering for the 3 courses with the following completed forms. 1. A warning from the Prophet class form. 2. Be it known class form. 3. Nationality and ID card class form. 4. Course rules and agreement form. Visit our website, www.moorishamericannationalrepublic.com, and download the application and registration forms. These forms will have the full instructions, requirements, and prerequisites for the classes. Also, mail with your application an updated copy of your resume. You are not paying for your nationality. Your nationality is free of charge. You are paying for the cost of enrolling in the Moorish School of Law and History, just as one pays tuition when enrolling into a college or a university. The costs are also directed to the application processes of the preparation of your documents, as you'll receive these once you've completed the courses. It takes finances to raise a nation, and it takes finances to maintain and operate an educational forum. This concludes the administrative announcement by way of the Moorish School of Law and History. I return the floor to the moderator. Islam and peace.
Islam. And thank you for that administrative announcement, Sister Carla Green Ill. Appreciate you much, beloved. Our next administrative announcement will be coming by way of our good brother Michael Simpson Ill Jr. with our warning. Islam there, beloved brother, you can press ***, and you have the floor.
Islam, that good brother Sanders Bay, can you hear me?
Islam, brother Michael Simpson L. Jr., I can hear you loud and clear. Your vibrations are strong and clear. Trusting all is well with you and the family, and you have the floor.
All is truly well with me and the family, and all is true with you and the family?
Indeed. Giving thanks, beloved. You have the floor.
Thank you much, my man. Much honor and gratitude. Brother Michael Simpson L. Jr., calling out of Wayne County, Michigan Republic. First, I'd like to rise to my highest heights, giving the all-perfect praise to our Mother, Father, God, Allah, to all our ancestors, spoken and unspoken, naming and honoring all true and divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammed, Buddha, and Confucius, and our last prophet in these days and times, our illustrious Hebrew prophet, our great Redeemer, Noble Drew Ali, in his first, second, and third form. I also like to extend those honors to our headquarters in Baltimore, Maryland, Temple number 13, our National Grand Sheikh, Joe Bratton Bay, to all our national officials, Sheikhs, Sheikesses, Deputy Sheikhs, and Deputy Sheikesses, and to all our family, friends, guests, students, citizens, and to our illustrious future, our children, I greet you all with Islam. This administrative announcement is coming by way of our Sergeant at Arms Administration. Warning, if any persons, groups, or companies claiming to represent the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America, Incorporated, number 13, the Moorish American National Republic, in any way and offering to sell you such things as the application for Moorish American citizenship, naturalization paperwork, nationalization paperwork, trust documents with the Moorish American National Republic's logos, passports, diplomatic appointments, diplomatic papers, diplomatic motor vehicle license plates, driver's licenses, titles of nobility, doctorate or other educational titles, business banking licenses, tax shelters, tax identification cards, or the likeness of any of these, please contact the Moorish National Bureau of Investigation at area code 410-501-7301. I repeat, area code 410-501-7301. Immediately. Violators will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. The members and the grand body of the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America, Incorporated, number 13, the Moorish American National Republic are not sovereign citizens, nor Moorish nationals. The Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America, Incorporated, number 13, the Moorish American National Republic is not, I repeat, is not a sovereign citizens movement. This administrative announcement comes by way of our Solicitor General, National Grand Sheik, Joe Bratton Bay. And that concludes the reading of this administrative announcement. Islam, there, good brother Sanders Bay. The floor is yours. Islam?
Islam. And thank you for that administrative announcement, Brother Michael Simpson L. Jr. We have our next announcement will be coming by way of our Deputy Sheikess Alyssa Thomas Bay with our caveat emptor. Islam, there, beloved sister, you can press star, and you have the floor.
Islam, brother, all is well.
Islam, there, Deputy Sheikess Alyssa Thomas Bay. All is truly well. Trusting all is well with you and the family. It's always a pleasure to hear your vibrations, and you have the floor.
Giving thanks, brother. Islam, this is Deputy Sheikess Alyssa Thomas Bay. First, I'd like to rise and give all perfect praise to Allah, all of the divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammed, Buddha, and Confucius, our prophet in these days and time, Prophet Noble Drali, our National Grand Chief Joe Baton Bay, all of our national officials, all of our sheiks, sheikesses, deputy sheikesses, members, citizens, students, and guests, I greet you all with Islam. Notice to the public, let the buyer beware. Caveat emptor, Moors are men upright, independent, and fearless, who care for their loved ones and follow the prophet to a destiny which is not uncertain nor unknown. They are fortified by the impregnable doctrine built upon love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. It is therefore folly at its greatest heights for smelly culprits with their insidious plans to invade such realm. They try, but their own bad planning brings down wrath upon their head like the sword old Damocles had. Intrigue and scurrilous cunnings find a difficult path to travel within the ranks of the Moors. This is so because the Moorish movement has been well planned by Prophet Noble Drali, whose latent powers are abundant, unknown, and may be called into action as a matter of defense at any moment. Prophet Noble Drali knows the people within his ranks who are interested. They are vanguard of the movement as the Moorish hordes increase here in America. All of the Moors are active, not passive. A member's interest can only be in one direction, and having traveled over the road years before the prophet knows where every member is along the road. A few feet below is another road where schemers walk, where traders grin, and culprits bask in the sun. They think they're on the same road with the true Moors, but the Moors are high above on a pinnacle, where they might view the destructionists as they fall for the last time, and their bones bleach in the sultry midday sun. Hungry scavengers flying high, cats scent, devour, and leave crying out, caveat emptor, cast out the dead carcass. The Moors high above see these plotters, purveyors, the worst that exists, hurl themselves downward by their own works as the hawks await. By Prophet Noble Drali. The Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America, Inc., number 13, Moorish American National Republic, advises the public with the words of the warning written by Prophet Noble Drali. The caveat emptor article message is the same today in 2021 as when written in 1928. We have been contacted by various natural persons who have sent funds to individuals and organizations. Said funds paying for various documents. Said individual and organizations have no affiliation with the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America, Inc., number 13, Moorish American National Republic. Be here and advise the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America, Inc., number 13, Moorish American National Republic, does not sell documents of any type. Again, we do not sell documents. Again, be here and notified that said individual and organizations have no affiliation with our organization, the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America, Inc., number 13, Moorish American National Republic. Some of said organizations have mirrored names which read closely to ours. Therefore, pay close attention to whom it is you are sending your funds, as the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America, Inc., number 13, Moorish American National Republic, has no liability for funds sent to these individuals and organizations. There may be others, yet the two I'm about to list have repeatedly been cited by those natural persons as a party to whom funds were sent on the guise of sending said funds to our organization. R.V. Bay Publications, Moorish National Republic, the Federal Government, Moorish Divine and National Movement of the World, the Moorish Science Temple of America. We will update this list as necessary. Trustee, the public is advised. Let the buyer beware. That concludes my administrative announcement. Islam and peace, and I return the floor to the moderator.
Islam. And thank you for that administrative announcement, our Deputy Sheikess Alyssa Thomas Bay. Appreciate you much, beloved. Our next administrative announcements will be coming by way of our good sister Norma Solomon Ill with our National Holy Night meeting, conference call, and our sister's auxiliary call. Islam there, beloved sister. You can press ***, and you have the floor.
Islam, brother.
Islam there, Sister Norma Solomon Ill. Trusting all is well with you and the family. Your vibrations are strong and loud and clear, and you have the floor. Islam, Sister Norma Solomon Ill, are you with us?
Islam, can you hear me?
Islam, I can hear you now, loud and clear. You have the floor.
Islam. Islam family, this is Sister Norma Solomon Ill, calling out of the Bronx County in the New York Republic. First and foremost, I rise to my highest heights, giving all perfect praise and the highest honor to Allah, the Mother, Father, God of the universe. Giving honors to all true and divine prophets, namely Jesus, Muhammed, Buddha, Confucius, and to our illustrious prophet in this new era of time, Prophet Noble Drew Ali in his first, second, and third form. I remain standing, extending high honors to our National Grand Sheikh, Joel Bratton Bay, to our officials, both national and local, to our sheikesses, our sheiks, our deputy sheikesses, our deputy sheiks, to all of our citizens, members, students, children, and any guests that may be on the call this evening, I greet all in and with Islam. The first administrative announcement that I will read is coming by way of our National Holy Night Conference call, Islam. Friday is the public is invited to join us in our National Holy Night Conference call Friday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. If you live without a temple, or you are unable to attend your local Holy Night meeting, our National Holy Night Conference call is here for you. We invite the public and all members to join our National Holy Night Conference call at 443-961-4434 every Friday.
Islam.
We celebrate. Islam, brother.
Can you hear me? Sometimes while you're speaking, we're not able to hear you. I'm not able to hear you clearly, like you're going really low at some points.
Okay, Islam, brother. Give me a second. Let me try to remedy this situation.
Islam.
Islam, brother. Is that a better connection?
Islam, sister. All is truly well. That's better.
Okay, Islam. Should I start over again, or continue?
Yes. Just for the sake of our listening audience, and we just want to make sure we can all hear you clearly. Islam.
Islam. All right. So I will begin again, and this announcement is coming by way of our National Holy Night Conference call. Islam or Muslims, the public is invited to join our National Holy Night Conference call Friday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. If you live in an area without a temple or you are unable to attend your local Holy Night meeting, our National Holy Night Conference Call is here for you. We invite the public and all members to join our National Holy Night Conference Call at 443-961-4434 every Friday as we celebrate the closing of one creation and the opening of the next. Come give thanks to your creatress, creator, and exercise your five senses, celebrating and commemorating the divine unity of Holy Night. 443-961-4434 every Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. See you at our Holy Night meeting. The next administrative announcement is coming by way of our sister auxiliary, Islam. The Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America, Inc., number 13, the Moorish American National Republic, is delighted to announce our upcoming conference call dedicated to the uplift of Moabitist members of this divine and national movement under the leadership of our National Grand Sheikh, Joe Bratton Bey, and the nobles of our grand body. Our conference call's purpose is to create a network system amongst our feminine energy, showcasing the array of talents we, the sisters in this body, have to offer. We are calling on every sister in our organization to heed this call, partake in this uplifting act, and be an active spoke in the will of this Moorish Republic. Come and familiarize yourself with your sisters and reap the benefits of membership of this national body that is committed to bring about the positive change necessary to facilitate the uplifting of fallen humanity. We encourage our sisters to get involved and support this demonstration. The Moorish American National Republic Sisters Auxiliary is requesting the help and support of all our brothers and sisters to donate to our fundraising Life Pin and Tag Day celebration demonstration. Show pride in your movement and support the Sisters Auxiliary as we assist in the uplifting of fallen humanity by donating $1 for a life pin, $3 for a tag, and $5 for a magnet. All three are designed to inspire, unite, and encourage dialogue about this great movement and our illustrious Hebrew prophet, Noble Drew Ali. This Moorish regalia can be viewed on our website, www.moorishamericannationalrepublic.com. Simply go into the Resources tab and choose the Sister Auxiliary option. Anyone wishing to order regalia or seeking membership, please send an email to sisterauxiliary13@gmail.com. That is sisterauxiliary13@gmail.com. Please make a note of your request in the subject line, whether it's membership, life pins, tags, or magnets. Please give your contact information, including your email, address, and phone number. Our next meeting will be held the 4th Thursday in March, and that would be on March the 25th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That concludes the administrative announcement that I have. Thanks for the time. I'll turn the floor back over to the moderator. Peace and love.
Islam, and thank you for those administrative announcements. Our good sister Norma Solomon Eel, appreciate you much, beloved. At this time, if there's any announcements from any of our national officials, you can press ***, and you have the floor.
Islam,
Islam. That sounds like Sheikh Lawrence Young Bey.
Islam, that's I.
Islam.
Islam, how's the family?
All is truly well. Trusting all is well with you and the family. It's always a pleasure to hear your vibrations, and you have the floor.
Islam, thank you, Mo. I'm Sheikh Lawrence Youngbay, National Treasurer and Divine Minister out of North Carolina Republic. First, I rise giving all perfect praise to Allah and to all our ancestors. Some we know of, some we don't. To all our true and divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammed, Buddha, and Confucius. And the last prophet in these days and times, our Redeemer, our illustrious Hebrew prophet, Noble Ali, the first, the second, and the third form. I extend my honors to the forerunner for Noble Ali, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, and to our National Grand Sheikh Joel Brattenbay. To the Sheiks, Sheikesses, Deputy Sheiks, Deputy Sheikesses, brothers and sisters, and parents and students in our Sunday school, and everyone on the call, I greet you with love and peace, 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 Islam, Islam, Islam. This administrative announcement is to the members. When mailing your dues, please include your dues card with a photocopy of your dues card. In the upper right-hand corner of your dues card, you will see the letters DON and a blank line beside it. Write your naturalization on that line. In the event if you don't see DON or blank line up there, you still write your naturalization date up there in the right-hand corner. Make 2 copies. Keep 1 copy home for your record. Include the month and year you are paying your dues. Also, if you change your address, please indicate so with a note when you mail your dues card. This is so we can update and mark the records correctly. This concludes my administrative announcement for the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America, Incorporated, number 13, Moorish American National Republic. I give it back into the hands of Brother Cornelius Sanders Bay. Thank you for the time, beloved.
Islam. And thank you for that administrative announcement, Sheikh Lawrence Young Bey. Appreciate you much, beloved.
Appreciate you too, Mo.
Islam. At this time, if there's any announcements from any of our national officials, you can press ***, and you have the floor. Islam.
Islam, beloved. I'm sorry.
Islam, Sheikh Orton Bey, trusting all is well with you and the family. It's a pleasure to hear your vibrations, and you have the floor.
Islam, Islam. Same here, beloved. Islam, Moors. Someone else trying to come in?
Islam, Sheikh. No, it was something happening, but I corrected it. Islam.
Okay. Appreciate you more. Islam, Moors. This is your good brother, Sheikh Isaiah Orton Bey, calling out of Wayne County, Michigan Republic. Rise to my highest heights, give all perfect praise to our Mother, Father, God of the universe, whom we Moors refer to as Allah, remaining standing and ascending those divine honors to our ancestors, known and unknown, naming, recognizing all true and divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius, Our last prophet in these last days and times, our illustrious Hebrew prophet, the Honorable Prophet Noble Jew Allah, first, second, and third form, remaining standing and extending those divine honors to our national officials at headquarters under the guidance and direction of our National Grand Sheikh, Joe Bratton Bey, all of our sheiks, sheikesses, deputy sheikesses, our citizens, members, students, family, friends, our beloved angels, our children. I greet you all with Islam, Islam, Islamism. All right, Morris, a quick administrative announcements just to come back in reference to our third administrative announcement coming by way of our good sister, Carla Green L., our secretary of our Moorish School and Law and History. Just a reminder, Morris, enrollment for the second course is open. All applications that will be received by our National Registrar will enroll you into the second course, which is the Be It Known course. All right, Morris, we do have a scheduled orientation date, April the 7th, 2021. And again, remember, Morris, we've made some changes as of last year creation. So all of our orientations are open to the public. So even if you have not submitted registration to get into the class, you will still have the opportunity to listen in during the orientation. All right, more. So stay tuned with us. That information, once it's time for the orientation call to start, we will reveal that information to the public. So if you would like to tune in with us that Wednesday, April 7th, to tune in for orientation, you will be able to do so. So all returning students, if you have not already done so, you want to get to the website, print out and fill out the registration form for the Be It Known course. If you haven't done the nationality identification card course, you want to go ahead and send that one in also. That way, when the classes come around, if you have not already paid your finance, you can just go ahead and submit your finance, but at least your registration will be on file and completed. All right, Morris? So all returning students, if you have not already done so, you want to go ahead and submit that form. All new students who have not already done so, as directed by our sister, visit our website, Moorish American National Republic.com. You want to click on the resource tab, scroll down to Moorish American Citizenship application for Moorish American Citizenship. Print out or click on that link. You see all 7 hyperlinks. What you want to do is print out all of those links and get that filled out. Any documents that's needed to be submitted with the forms, you want to get those sent in as well, so you can go ahead and be pre-registered and ready to rock and roll come April the 7th, 2021. So that was the only administrative announcement that I had, good brother Sanders Bay. Appreciate the time, beloved. I'm yielding the floor back to you. Islam, Islam, Islam.
Islam. And thank you for that administrative announcement, Sheikh Isaiah Orton Bey. Appreciate you much, beloved. Islam. At this time, if there's any other announcements coming by way of our national officials, you can press ***, and you have the floor. Islam. Well, we don't have any more administrative announcements. The time is now 8:19 p.m. and we have a total of 32 lines on the call. We'd like to thank you all for your presence and your energies, because you could have been anywhere this evening, but you're here with us. And we definitely appreciate you and your presence and your energies. And we're going to get into these thought-provoking questions and get some dialogue going. All right. Our first question on the floor this evening reads, how does the 13th Amendment with 20 sections coincide with nationality as the Prophet demonstrates? Islam, you can press ***, state your name and where you're calling from. How does the 13th Amendment with 20 sections coincide with nationality as the Prophet demonstrates? Islam? Beautiful question for the questionnaire. A beautiful question. And I know my brothers and sisters will definitely demonstrate on this question and bring clarity. Islam, how does the 13th Amendment with 20 sections coincide with nationality as the Prophet demonstrates? Islam? Islam, can I get a brother or sister or anyone that would like to get the ball started rolling on the question on the floor this evening?
Islam?
Islam there, brother Michael Simpson L. Jr., you have the floor.
Islam. Thank you much, good brother Sanders Bay. Brother Michael Simpson L. Jr., calling out of Wayne County, Michigan Republic, re-rising to my highest heights, all perfect praises to Allah and to our illustrious Hebrew prophet, Noble Drew Ali, in his first, second, and third form. So the 1320, how does it coincide with, what was the question? Can you read the whole question for me again one more time, good brother?
Indeed. The question reads, how does the 13th Amendment with 20 sections, subhanAllah, how does the 13th Amendment with 20 sections coincide with nationality as the Prophet demonstrates? Islam?
Islam. Thank you much, good brother. Well, as we know in this particular grand body, the 13th Amendment, along with the four proclamations, are permanent parts to the Constitution. And the Prophet mentioned in his warning, he mentioned repeatedly about the free national constitution. So that's where he pointing us to, that we was part of the said government. So said in law means before. So he was pointing us to the science, because the 14th and 15th Amendment, he said, was not applicable to our people. But he didn't strike out the 13th because he wanted the Moors to study that aspect, because there was some science and history and remedy there for the Moorish Americans. So he says that repeatedly and mentions the free national constitution. And if you look at the 13th Amendment with 20 sections, the first section, it says that you have the right to worship God at the dictates of your own consciousness. The first section says that. So, you know, people that are enslaved don't have those kind of rights. They only have granted privileges. So that's how it coincides with nationality, and nationality has two parts. It has the right of land and the right of blood. So if we go to our Black's Law Dictionary, the right of land is just so we. That means the right of soil. And the right of blood is just sanguinis or jus sanguinis, which means the right of blood. Those are the two components to nationality. So in my demonstration right there, Islam and peace. Floor is yours, Sanders Bay.
Islam there, my good brother Michael Simpson L. Jr. Appreciate you much for that beautiful demonstration and getting the ball started and getting us rolling. Islam. At this time, if there's anyone who has any questions, comments, concerns, or anyone that would like to add on to, the floor is now open. You can press star. You have the floor.
Islam?
Islam Sheeport Bay. I'll bring you on after brother Justin Levy Ill. Islam there, brother Justin Levy Ill. You have a real bad noise coming from your background. Islam?
I can yield to the Sheik, Mo.
Nah, you can the Sheik is already on yield. You can go. Islam?
Islam, appreciate you much, brother. Appreciate
you have the floor.
Honors to Sheik Gordon Bay. This is brother Justin Levy Ill, also pronounced Levi Ill, of Louisiana Republic. I want to rise to my highest heights, give all perfect praises to Allah, the Mother, Father, God of the universe. I give honors to all of our ancestors, those that we speak of and those that we don't. Naming and recognizing Jesus, Muhammed, Buddha, and Confucius, and the last prophet in this day and time, our illustrious Hebrew prophet, Noble Drew Ali, in his first, second, and third form. I want to remain standing and give honors to all of our officials at headquarters, our National Grand Sheik, Joe Bradden Bay,
all sheikesses, deputy sheiks, and deputy sheikesses, all the members, guests, our illustrious children, visitors. I greet everyone in and with Islam. The question states, how does the 13th Amendment with 20 sections coincide with nationality as taught by our prophet? Is that correct, brother?
Islam. The question reads, how does the 13th Amendment with 20 sections coincide with nationality as the prophet demonstrates? Islam?
Islam. Thank you, Mo. All right, I'll just exercise my 5 senses and put my 7 cents on the question. As we look at the 13th Amendment with 20 sections, Section 6 clearly states involuntary servitude, except for a crime, shall not be permitted or permanently established within a district set apart for the seat of government of the United States. But the right of sojourn in such district with persons held to service or labor for life shall not be denied. Islam. So the first portion, I look at that, involuntary servitude, except for a crime, shall not be permanently established. Our prophet teaches not that it is a crime for us to be Negro, Black, colored, Ethiopian. That's the first way I could connect that to our prophet nationality and as it's taught by our prophet. A lot of us have a misunderstanding about who we are and where we come from, and that's due to the European ideology, which we all know. But we are going through the process of correcting and fixing that ideology. Our mind is first and foremost that we have to change and correct, and we have to learn to love instead of hate. But as the 13th Amendment coincides with that involuntary servitude, except for punishment of a crime, as long as we stay in that mind state, we're going to be punished for the crimes. It is a crime for us to dishonor our forefathers and our mothers. And our prophet taught us that. And also connecting to the warning, he actually warned us of that. The prophet goes in and say that through your free national name, you are known and recognized by all nations of the earth that are recognized by said national government in which they live. The 14th and 15th Amendments brought the North and South in unit, placing the Southerner, which was at that time without power, with the constitutional body power. In that time, 1865, the free national constitutional law that was enforced in 1774, which we know was the Articles of Association, declared all men equal and free. And if all men are declared by the free national constitution to be free and equal, since that constitution has never been changed, there is no need for the application of the 14th and 15th Amendment and for the salvation of our people and citizens, Islam. So that the prophet purposely left out the 13th Amendment with its 20 sections, because we went straight on to the 14th and 15th. Islam, and we know we already have those rights, our citizenship and our voting rights within the first 7 articles, which is our free national constitution. Islam, I'm gonna go ahead and put a period behind my statement. I don't want to take up too much time. The prophet didn't mention that in his warning, the 13th Amendment with 20 sections for a reason. And if you look at the section 6 and how it goes into involuntary servitude is not permanently established unless it's a punishment of a crime. And we know our prophet warned us and taught us that it's a crime to be other than who we are. Islam and peace. I yield. Love you all.
Islam. And thank you for that beautiful demonstration and add on, Brother Justin Levy-Ill. Appreciate you much, beloved. Islam. Islam. You can press star, and you have the floor, Sheikh Orton Bey. Islam.
Okay. Islam, beloved, can I be heard?
Islam, Sheikh, you're very low.
Okay, hold on. Let me take these off. Okay. What about now? Can I be heard?
Yeah, that's the Sheikh right there. Islam, you have the floor.
Okay. Appreciate you, family. All right. Islam Moorish is a good brother. Isaiah Orton Bay Sheikh. Again, calling out of Wayne County, Michigan Republic. Rising to my highest heights, give all perfect praise to our Mother, Father God of the universe, whom we Moors refer to as Allah. Giving all honor to our last prophet in these last days and times, Honorable Noble Jew Allah, first, second, and third form, whom brought us nationality, birthright, and divine creed. All right, so how does the 13th Amendment with 20 sections coincide with nationality as demonstrated by Prophet Noah Jew Ali? Okay, so good question. In reference to the questioner, one will have to, again, start to study the foundation of Prophet Noble Jew Ali to get a better understanding, to know how to put the pieces to the puzzle together. So I'm going to start off with our Prophet Noble Jew Ali brought us a divine and national movement. And divine and. So we're dealing with two parts, all right? Nationality, that's the divine. That's our divine rights. You have the divine right coming by way of your mother to have a nationality. All right? Your own religion, as the brother shared with Article 1 of the 13th Amendment. All right? So the divine aspects that we were cut away from, that we strayed away from, Prophet Noble Jew Ali has returned us back to that divine state of mind that we need to get back to understand the national laws, all right? Because, again, we've been educated and taught in a way that's totally contrary to the information that we hear on these calls and coming by way of our temples, all right? So how does it coincide? Let's look at it. Act 6, we teach here, Act 6 is the master degree. All right, and within Act 6, Prophet Noble Jew Ali gives us our divine standards. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. And we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they must know that they are a part and parcel of this said government and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. So I'm going to pause right there. So let's see, how does the 13th Amendment coincide with nationality as demonstrated by Prophet Noble Jew Ali? So Act 6 is a connection, and the warning is an extension of Act 6. Because, again, this is our divine and our constitutional standard for who? Us. That wants to do what? Become members and do what? Proclaim our nationality. So this is our divine standard that all temples must uphold to, or all those seeking membership. Now, how does this divine standard coincide with the national standard? We have to go back to our foundation and law. So it's coming upon us to learn the history as prior to pre-colonization or pre-Columbian history, all right? We have to go a little bit further back, all right? So once we start to get an understanding and know that our ancestors played a fundamental part with establishing the Constitution for the United States, those first 7 articles of the Constitution, this is our Moorish foundation. Within that Moorish foundation, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 4 states to establish a uniform rule of naturalization. All right? Oh, the Prophet didn't bring that. The Prophet didn't naturalize Moors when he was here on the earth plane. He was here in the flesh. And we were also under common law. But things changed. He also created a divine and national movement. Nothing stays the same. So we can't get stuck in 1928. We have to understand and progress with what's going on. Because he also told us in Act 6, but this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live. So where do you live at, Moors? is coming upon you to condone this act, Act 6. All right? So now that we have the national constitutional law that supports it, proclaiming our nationality. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 4, to establish a uniform rule of naturalization. So when we go to the law book and we look up the term nationality to get an understanding what it means in law, the last stanza, last sentence, it says, nationality arises either by birth or by naturalization. We wasn't born with it. Prophet teaches us that. We lost it in 1774. So if you lost it, how do we redeem it? How do we redeem that which was lost? It's coming upon us that we must proclaim our nationality lawfully and constitutionally. So now we have a better understanding of what it is that we must do. So as the brother demonstrated, both of Brother Simpson L and Brother Levi L, demonstrated in reference to the 1320. Why did they go to the 1320? Well, we have to understand and know that the proclamations of President Abraham Lincoln was made permanent parts to the Constitution. All right? Let's go to the supplemental emancipation. And I'm not going to read it. It's lengthy, but if you have our website, if you have the Naturalization Orientation Handbook, I'm reading on page 78, Supplemental Emancipation, January 1st, 1863. All right, let's go here. Resolved means they came up with a resolution. We have a measure to end this fiasco, whatever it is we're dealing with. So resolved, ED, past tense, it's done. It's the law, Morris, that the proclamation of the President of the United States of the date of 22nd September 1862 is warranted by the Constitution. What does warrant mean in law, Morris? Don't the police come kicking in your door? Hey, we got a warrant to do whatever we want to do. It's permanent parts, Morris. It's warranted. So wherever we see those first 7 articles, we are supposed to see these proclamations, all 4 of them. The initial of September 22nd, that's basically letting them know. Initially, look, we coming up with a measure, more or people, to end slavery, to get rid of this rebellion. So I'm letting you know initially because it's gradual, but as January 1st, 1863, if you got people held as slaves and you hold them as property, they're free forever. I'm letting you know September 22nd, so you can start to make arrangements now so you won't have to be chasing your tail when January 1st, 1863 comes. Then we have the compensated Emancipation Proclamation, December 1st. Then we have the supplemental. This is the one we were taught, January 1st, 1863. Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. They didn't tell us how he freed it or what even led up to us being free from it. And why was it just posed that it was us being freed? There wasn't pale nations of Europe that was held as slaves. There wasn't China Asians held as slaves. There wasn't so-called Native Americans, mulattoes held as slaves. We got to get the bigger picture, Morris. So the proclamations are permanent parts and warranted to the Constitution. This is the policy of freedom. The 13th Amendment with its 20 sections is the law to enforce that policy. And I'm going to go here and how does it coincide? Let's get some Moorish law and history. The first man to legally move to resurrect the 13th Amendment with 20 sessions. The first. Prophet Noble Joe Ali, he didn't do it. He gave us the points to research it. So as we researched, the first to resurrect the 13th Amendment with 20 sessions and the executive will of President Abraham Lincoln for their eventual enforcement. to the federal government was Grand Sheik Richardson Dingle Ill. In a warning, our prophet states that we fell from the constitutional fold. He also made statements that we must enforce the law to save the nation. The question is coming upon us more. What law is our prophet speaking of? What do we have to enforce? We have to follow the footprints. Grand Sheik Richardson Dingle Ill being the first to resurrect the 13th Amendment with its 20 sections. All right? The 13th Amendment with 20 sections plays a vital part with our foundation. Grand Sheik Richardson Dingle Ill expanded the work of the founder, Prophet Noble Jew Ali. He placed our authority along with other literature and national headquarters on August 19th, 1942. He requested that all Moors be naturalized according to what? Our authority, Act 6 of our divine constitution, as requested by General Hershey and Colonel Swartz. All right? So, how does it coincide? Our movement is both divine and national. We have to come back to our divine laws that we were taken away from. We have to re-educate ourselves to these divine laws, and we see how they merge into constitutional law, because all law is the same, Morris. Whether we talking universal law, cosmic law, natural law, constitutional law, it's all law. One. A law is oneness. A law doesn't deal with separation. So we would have to just get a better understanding of the foundation. And that foundation is learning how the divine and the national movement operates. How do we find that out? We have to be educated. We have to become members so we can do what's necessary to understand and enforce this law. Just as Grand Sheik Richardson Dingle Ill was the first one to be registered in the federal government as what? A descendant of Moroccans and born in America. That's your keys, Moors. Why are we Moorish Americans? Because we are Moroccans and born in America. You have to see the prophet. But if you're not studying the prophet, you're not going to see how the Creator works in mysterious ways. And with that, I'll put a period behind my statements. Yield the floor back to you, big bro. Peace.
Islam. And thank you for that beautiful demonstration and add-on, Sheikh Orton Bey. Appreciate you much. That was that was very full and very informative. And I trust that the questionnaire was able to get some clarity and everyone was able to take some notes. Appreciate you, Sheikh. Islam. We'll be moving on to our next question for this evening. And our second question on the floor reads, is the 40 acres and a mule rumor have anything to do with Lincoln's policy? Islam, you can press star, state your name and where you're calling from. Islam?
Islam.
Islam, Deputy Sheikh Roy Bey, I'll bring you on after our Deputy Sheikh is Alyssa Thomas Bey. Islam? Islam, Deputy Sheikh is Alyssa Thomas Bey. You have the floor.
Giving thanks, brother, and giving thanks for the Deputy Sheikh for yielding the floor. This is Deputy Sheikh Alyssa Thomas Bey. I'm re-rising to my highest heights, giving all perfect praise to Allah, our national and Grand Sheikh, and everyone on the call, Prophet Noble Dwelling. I'm just re-rising really quick. I'm going to make it quick. And the way I would answer that question is say, yes, it does to an extent, because technically the 40 acres and a mule, that rumor stems from the Freedmen's Bureau. And if we know anything about the Freedmen's Bureau, from what I understand, that actually was proposed by Congress and signed off by President Abraham Lincoln after his 4 proclamations, but he still signed off on it. And pretty much what that was supposed to do was help, quote unquote, former black slaves and the poor whites in the South after the Civil War. They were promised 40 acres and a mule. So technically, yes, it does stem from his policies because President Abraham Lincoln signed off on the Freedmen's Bureau, which was passed March 1865. So I just made it quick and simple, and I know that my good brother, Deputy Sheikh Warbe, will come on and elaborate a little further. And with that, I'd like to say Islam and peace.
Islam. And thank you for that beautiful demonstration and getting the ball rolling. Our Deputy Sheikh Alyssa Thomas Bey. Definitely a pleasure when our sisters come on and demonstrate, showing that balance, because you know we need you. Where would we be without you? And I definitely appreciate you for your energies and your demonstration. Islam. All right, Deputy Sheikh Roy Bey, you can press star, and you have the floor.
Islam.
Islam, Deputy Sheikh Roy Bey, you have the floor.
All right, Islam, thank you. I rise to my heights. I want to give praise to Allah, the great God of the universe, who is almighty, eternal, and incomprehensible, the universal governor of this world seen and worlds that are unseen. I give honor to John the Harbinger, also known to us as the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, both harbinger and forerunner to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I give honors to all true and divine prophets, naming Jesus, Muhammed, Buddha, and Confucius. All of you mighty Muslims on the call tonight, our National Grand Sheikh, Brother Joe Bratton Bey, I extend those honors to Prophet Noble Drew Ali in the first, second, and third form, Islam. So, yeah, and of course, at the outstart, I want to also recognize and give honors to our Deputy Sheikh Alyssa Thomas Bey, who also resides here in the New York Republic with myself. But it's a little tricky, you know. Maybe I'm not connecting the dots accurately, but I'm going to shoot for the stars regardless. I'm not exactly too sure if the 40 acres and a mule was really a part of the demonstration with Lincoln. I understand where it could be tied in, but if I'm not mistaken, I'm not too sure if Lincoln was already assassinated. I'm not too sure if he was already killed at that time. But to my knowledge, this was predicated on a conversation that was had with some military general who came from Mississippi for the Union. He was down here. And it was really a conversation piece that was called Field Order number 15 or something like that. Yeah, Field Order number 15. And I guess because of the climate of the day, you know, the war had just concluded pretty much. And whatever the Union was saying, the Union troops was talking about, that became a governmental conversation piece. And the reason why I'm saying I'm not too sure if Lincoln had even heard of it in that context, 40 acres and a mule. And maybe he did. Because according to the record, President Johnson, Andrew Johnson, sometimes I confuse Andrew Johnson with Andrew Jackson. I believe it was Johnson after Lincoln. He turned around and reversed it. And a lot of that 40 acres and a mule was really land that came out of the Confederate state area. Because back then, when the war was won by the North, and even before that, they was nationalizing land. And I understand that Johnson gave a lot of that land back to the Confederate States when he had, quote unquote, reversed it. This is what I got from the record, you know? And this was, of course, during the whole time of Reconstruction and whatnot, all the conspiracies taking place. You know, so it was a lot of back and forth all over the country with what people were going to settle on and be satisfied with. But the mule was supposed to have been an add-on to help the freedmen and women work the land, you know, and so forth. But like I said, I can't really put my thumb on it because Sister Deputy Sheikah Alyssa Thomas Bay just brought another thought to my mind. Because at one time, I think I did hear Lincoln had approved of it, but I'm also, coming at the information that says that he was already killed then. So when she said her demonstration, it sort of made me rethink things, but I have to go with what I got and do more research on the subject matter. But to my knowledge, thus far, it could be in terms of land, because we was also promised the Egypt of the West. Maybe the 40 acres was in there somewhere, but maybe it wasn't. But I got to go back and do more research on subject matter because now I'm led to believe something to the contrary. But that was never, to my knowledge, Abraham Lincoln's language. Again, this was a conversation piece that came from a general speaking to an ex-slave or freedman, and that was the prompt. But of course, and the reason why there's some uncertainty is because of the Great Conspiracy. And everything that we're saying thus far could be correct, but we got to put it in proper timelines so we can understand the context. Because it could have been said on Monday, yeah, give them 40 acres, and Tuesday, Wednesday, one of the officials of the day switched it, so I got to do more research myself. Islam, I yield the floor.
Islam, Deputy Sheikh Roy Bey, and appreciate you for your demonstration and add-on. Appreciate you much, beloved. Islam. Islam, Sheikh Orton Bey, you can press star, and you have the floor.
Islam, beloved, can I be heard?
Loud and clear. You have the floor.
All right. Islam Moorish, your good brother, Sheikh Isaiah Orton Bey. Again, we rise into my highest heights. Give all perfect praise to our Mother, Father, God of the universe, whom we Moors refer to as Allah. Give all honor to our last prophet in these last days and times, our illustrious Hebrew prophet, the honorable prophet, noble Jew Allah, first, second, and third form. Islam. And beautiful commentary by our good sister, Deputy Sheikah Alyssa Thomas Bay, and our good brother, Deputy Sheikh Roy Lee Bey. In reference to, I'm gonna use Donald Trump phrase. It's a fake and a fraud, basically. 40 acres and a mule. There's no law to support that. It's just a figment of our imagination. That came by way of the Black Caucus after we told them about the compensation. Remember, boys, President Abraham Lincoln laid down the foundation for us. All right, so I'm gonna go into a little reading real quick just to share some information. All right, so read the question for me one more time, Brother Sanders Bay. I apologize. Let me make sure I'm on point.
Indeed. The question reads, is the 40 acres and a mule rumor have anything to do with Lincoln's policies? Islam?
Islam. All right. So again, answer to the question, no. So let's get an understanding of what Lincoln pushed for. President Abraham Lincoln also pushed for, this is again after the proclamations in the 13th Amendment with its 20 sections. He also pushed for the Freedmen's Bureau. This is the common name. The official name was the Bureau of Refugees, Freedmen, and Abandoned Lands, as our brother Deputy Sheikh was just touching points on. So the question should be, again, we're dealing with this man's psychology. So if all so-called black people was from Africa and we was brought over here on ships, our question should be, how can there be abandoned lands here? Let me give you that official name. The Bureau of Refugees. Remember what happened to our people in Louisiana when those levees broke? What would they call them? They didn't say citizens. The newspaper wasn't identifying our people as citizens. They was calling them refugees. Pay attention, Morris. The Bureau of Refugees, Freedmen, and Abandoned Lands. How can the lands be abandoned if you so-called brought us over here on slave ships? When we got a different perspective, we can ask different questions. So again, that's going to take knowing history. The Freedmen's Bureau is the reason why most of the historical black colleges and universities was constructed, except for the 3 that was formed before 1865. So all the people that already graduated or is currently in a historical black college or university have to thank President Abraham Lincoln for their schools. However, the Freedmen's Bureau, which was set up to fulfill parts of the proclamations, and the 13th Amendment with 20 sessions, was shut down in 1871, officially in 1872 by the military. So, going back to that first question, how does this coincide? So, naturalization, compensation, and colonization of the over 22 plus states that Abraham Lincoln called Egypt of the West was not fulfilled, and that contract still needs to be fulfilled. Remember, the prophet said we have to enforce the law to save the nation. All right, there's a contract out there that haven't been fulfilled, the aims of the Civil War, which is another reason for the purpose of Prophet Noble Drew Ali coming in 1913. Remember, the proclamation was a gradual process. They was given 37 years, 1863 into the year 1900. The Europeans did not fulfill their obligations. They defaulted on the contract. Allah, the best creditor of all, gave them a 13-year grace period. All right? 1913, Prophet comes with the hollow. All right? To fulfill what Congress and the government was not able to do and open up the doorway lawfully and constitutionally for denaturalized Moors or those who have been denaturalized, labeled, classified, identified, or described as black, Negro, colored, African American, Ethiopian, West Indian, any of these names that we find ourselves connected to, all right, to get naturalized, colonized, and compensated. The true lawful aspect is compensation. We are an injured party. Our ancestors did free sharecrop labors from 1779 until 1865, 47 years ago. 86 years, our family ancestors did free sharecrop labor. We must be compensated. No 40 acres and a mule. We don't want no mules. We need land. Without land, you have no wealth. We can see why the military keep on going to the east on the oil. You need the land. Let's continue, Moors. So, proclaiming your nationality in constitutional law is known as naturalization. Working towards your actual freedom or having your hyphen, bay, or ill, which is annexation or annex in law, and again, that's after the slave name. This shows that you are working towards what? Colonization and compensation. You have the naturalized part with your hyphen bay. Your naturalizations deal with status, identity, your status of citizenship. This is all the basis of naturalization. Many do not know what Prophet Noble Drew Ali movement is really about, especially the national side. That is not being taught. Neither do they know the signs he was demonstrating. So again, Morris, is going to come upon us to take our time and study our prophet literature, ask questions so we can gain clarity and understanding, so we can see what it is that must be done. But the executive will, this is what we're standing for. The executive will of President Abraham Lincoln, and in his will, he calls for us to be naturalized, colonized, and compensated. No 40 acres and a mule. We need our gold and our silver back. And with that, I'll put a period behind my statement. Yield the floor back to you, good brother. Islam.
Islam, Islam, Islam. And thank you for that beautiful demonstration and add-on and very full. Sheikh Orton Bey, appreciate you much, beloved.
Islam.
Islam's Deputy Sheikhess, you have the floor.
Giving thanks, brother. This is Deputy Sheikhess Alyssa Thomas Bay, re-rising to my highest heights. I just want to say excellent demonstration that was put on the floor by Sheikh Isaiah Orton Bey and also Deputy Sheikh Roy Bey. I just wanted to come back on the floor to answer the Deputy Sheikh Roy Bey's question. Brother, you do not have to go back and do your research. You are absolutely right and correct with your demonstration. There was nothing off about it. Just so you understand, my demonstration is coming from the question that was asked. It said, where did the rumor, and we understand what a rumor is. A rumor is something that's not always true. It's something somebody heard. Somebody could have changed it. Somebody could have twisted around. The question was, where does the rumor, 40 acres and a mule, stem from? And that rumor stems from the Freedmen's Bureau. So your demonstration was correct. But the question is asking, where does that rumor, meaning that it was never confirmed whether it's true or not, or if that's something that we're supposed to receive. As Moorish Americans, we know that we are not supposed to strive and achieve for 40 acres a mule. That's nothing. But that is a rumor that stemmed from the Freedmen's Bureau. And to answer your question, you were saying that you think he passed away. He didn't pass away at that time. He was assassinated April 14th. 1865, and that Freedmen's Bureau Act was signed March 3rd, 1865. So that's just to answer your question, brother. You are absolutely correct on your demonstration. You do not have to go back and do any research because you weren't off. I was just explaining where that rumor stems from, the Freedmen's Bureau. As we know, as Moorish Americans, that is not our goal, but that is what the people has misinterpreted that, and that's what they think it is today, when it's supposed to be compensation and not reparations. So I just wanted to answer your question, brother. With that, I'd like to say Islam in peace.
Islam. And thank you for that beautiful demonstration and coming back to the floor. Deputy Sheikh Alyssa Thomas Bey. Appreciate
Islam?
you. Islam, Deputy Sheikh Roy Bey. You have
Islam,
the floor.
brother. Thank you. I just wanted to come back on real quick. I'll be 30 seconds. Just giving honors to our Deputy Sheikhs for that clarity. Because I kind of got confused. Maybe I heard something wrong or whatnot, but it sort of changed my demonstration. But praise Allah for the sister bringing clarity to my concerns. Islam, I give honors to her. Peace.
Islam, Deputy Sheikh Roy Bey, and appreciate you for giving our sister the honors, and y'all both giving those honors respect due to one another, and that's what it's all about. Islam. Appreciate you both. All right, my good people, we just come up on at 9:02. I like to ask everybody, we have a total of 51 lines on the call. We'd like to ask you all to mute your lines and remain muted. At this time, our National Grand Sheikh Joel Bratton Bey is not able to be with us. He's not going to be able to summarize our call as he is taking care of business with the other temples, the other grand bodies, with the unity of the grand bodies. So at this time, I'm going to call our Sheikh Lawrence Young Bey to the floor to give his thoughts on the questions and bring some clarity to the floor as well. Islam, Sheikh Lawrence Young Bey, you can press star, and you have the floor.
Islam.
Islam, there, Sheikh Lawrence Young Bey, you can be heard loud and clear. You have the floor.
Islam. First I rise, giving all perfect praises to Allah, to all his true and divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammed, Buddha, and Confucius, and the last prophet in these days and times, our illustrious Hebrew prophet, Noble U.S.A. the first, the second, and the third form. I extend my honors to the forerunner for Noble U.S.A., Marcus Mosiah Garvey, and to our National Grand Sheikh Joel Bratton Bey, Sheikhs, Sheikhesses, Deputy Sheikhs, brothers and sisters, and parents and students in our Sunday school, and everyone on the call. I greet you all with love and peace, peace, peace. Islam, Islam, Islam. The brothers and sisters who elaborated, they elaborated beautifully, and they touched on the questions beautifully. But and I have some things to share as far as the proclamations is concerned. And this is on the first question. As far as the proclamations is concerned, Abraham Lincoln, he passed the initial Emancipation Proclamation. It was September 22nd, 1862, and the compensated emancipation, December 1st, 1862, and the supplemental emancipation, January 1st, 1863, and the proclamation of amnesty and reconstruction, January 8th, 1863. In addition, Mr. Lincoln guaranteed the passage of the 13th Amendment with 20 sections after it was rejected in 1864. The amendment being successfully passed in January 31st, 1865, and subsequently ratified 3/4 of the several states, becoming a permanent part of the Constitution on November 18, 1865. This is why the prophet Drew Allah referenced 1865 in Act 6 in the Divine Constitution and Bylaws. I like to read Act 6, and it states, Act 6, with us all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know, or must now, it's a must, know that they are a part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865, during the time of slavery. But this is a new earth time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Allah, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. In dealing with the nationality of Moors, says it states that in Act 6, what all naturalized or Moors that are naturalized must do in order to go through this process of naturalization. Now, all proclamations of Abraham Lincoln, the 13th Amendment with 20 sections, not to be confused with the 13th Amendment with 2 sections, which is fraud. Our authority on the back of the Moorish 101 and registered in our National Moorish Bureau of Vital Statistics. This is the only way for one to properly proclaim their nationality. In this day and time, and then secure birthrights and divine rights and start the process to freedom. Since we know property can't free property, then naturalization is not only just the law and connected to the Hebrew laws that pertain to the freedom as shown by Leviticus 25:10, being on the Liberty Bell, it is only through naturalization enslaved property become a flesh and blood natural person. Subhanallah. Article 1, Section 8, which was stated earlier, Clause 4 was the Constitution before any 14th Amendment, before any Naturalization Act. So we are not dealing with those. So what is naturalization? Black's Law Dictionary, 5th edition. Naturalization is a process which a person acquires nationality after birth and becomes entitled to the privileges of citizenship. Nationality arises either from birth or naturalization. The prophet said, that is but one issue, and that was for us to be recognized. So what did the prophet do? He took it all back and he adopted us, because that was the only way to help us get out of this mental slavery mindset back into the constitutional fold. Sheikh Wootenbay elaborated in other molds, and sisters too, elaborated on this subject and broke it down so very good, to where I have to say that they really did a good job. And we need a social stability and economic security to function as a government. Despotic of, relating to, or characteristic of a despot. Despot, a Byzantine era or prince, a bishop or patriarch of the Eastern Orthodox Church. Circle 7, chapter 48, verse 6, 7, and 8, the prophet states, we as a clean and pure nation, descended from the inhabitants of Africa, do not desire to amalgamate or marry into the families of the pale-skinned nations of Europe, neither serve the gods of their religion, because our forefathers are the true and divine founders of the first religious creed for the redemption and salvation of mankind on earth. Therefore, we are returning the church and Christianity back to the European nations as it was prepared by their forefathers for their earthly salvation. While we, the Moorish Americans, are returning to Islam, which was found by our forefathers for our earthly and divine salvation. In the Circle 7, chapter 47, verse 1, 2, and 3, it reads, the inhabitants of Africa are the descendants of the ancient Canaanites from the land of Canaan. So we didn't come from Africa. We inhabited Africa, which means we inhabited or were caught or brought to these shores from the continent of Africa. Africa is a continent that has over 55 countries in it. It is impossible to claim the whole continent. We were already home. North America is Upper Egypt, and South America is Lower Egypt. On the Liberty Bell, it talks about the 25th chapter, 10th verse, but it tells you about Jubilee, a year of emancipation and restoration provided by ancient Hebrew law to be kept every 50 years by the emancipation of slaves, restoring of alienated lands to their former owners, and omission to all cultivation of land, the land we inhabited. The crack in the Liberty Bell represents the Mississippi River. When turned upside down, the outer portion represents the boundaries for the Rocky Mountains and the Allegheny Mountains, which consists of over 22 states. The land is our land, known as the Great Interior Region, well spoken by Abraham Lincoln. If you recall, in one of Dr. Martin Luther King's speeches, he mentioned he had been to the mountaintop and saw the promised land. Promised land is the land of Canaan in the city of Mecca. You can go to Genesis, 3rd chapter, 8th verse, the land of milk and honey. This is the land that we claim that also belongs to us. All that I have read is to touch on a few things, because I know y'all had touched on majority of it. So with that, you can go to the next question, Brother Saunders Bay.
Islam, Sheikh Lawrence Young Bay. Indeed. Our next question reads, is the 40 acres and a mule rumor have anything to do with Lincoln's policies? Islam?
Well, I can touch on that, but the sheikhs has already touched on it, and I think they've done a wonderful job on that question. And for me to say more about it would be repetitious in what I would be saying. So I think that question has been answered very well, very well. Islam.
Islam. Well, I thank you much, our Sheikh Lawrence Young Bay, for your expressing what's on the dial plate of your heart and giving us some clarity, giving thanks. Appreciate you much for all you have done, will do, and continue to do.
Islam. Thank you, Mo. Thanks a lot.
Islam. Well, my good people, we have come to the end of our call. We have a total of 49 lines on the call. We'd like to thank you all for your presence and your attendance, your presence and energies. But at this time, we're going to begin to close out, but you can catch us here next week, same time, same space. But at this time, we close the same way we open. So can I please have everyone who is able to stand erect, facing towards the east, heels together, toes apart, separated at a 45-degree angle, upper arms parallel to the floor, forearms perpendicular, 5 fingers erect and together on the left, and 2 fingers erect and together on the right. Allah, Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Ameen. Trusting everyone has a safe rest of the week. Keep safe, stay sane. Until next Sunday's creation, much love and peace, peace, peace.